Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sledgehammers in the Office podcast, where we celebrate the heavy hitters on the job site and in the office. We're super excited to have Katie Roberts with us today from Marov Interiors. So, Katie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, well, we're super excited to get into what you're doing. Where we typically start with all our guests is, if you wouldn't mind giving us a background on your previous work experience, and then give us a little bit on what you're doing now and some of the details on what that looks like.
Yeah, okay. So, gosh, where do I start? It feels like it's been like so long, but also so short. So I got started into interior design around 5 years ago. It kind of fell into my lap. Prior to that, I was just stay-at-home mom, and my husband had a business. We were, fostering kids, adopting kids, birthing kids. And so my life was just mom, and I loved it. And I thought that's what I would do with the rest of my life. But then my husband got bored with his job or his business. Did I say he owned a gym? He owned a gym. And then he got bored. So he shut that down. And right after that, when I was in my third trimester of pregnancy with our fourth child, an investor was going to buy the home that we were currently living in, and he was going to make it into an Airbnb. And I was like, who's going to help you do this? Because it was a 4,000 square foot home. It wasn't like it was this little tiny house that you could just go furniture shopping one little store. And he's like, I think my wife. And I was like, you think your wife? Okay. He's like, are you an interior designer? And I was like, I'm not, but my friends keep pushing me into it. And he was going to buy some furniture and stuff from the house. And he's like, yeah, I'll hire you at the end. Let's do it. And so I put a proposal together, and I didn't really know what I was walking into. I thought it was just kind of furniture. And I'm like, I got that in the back of my hand, whatever. I've lived in this house. I have a Pinterest board for it, all the things. And we walked through. He's like, I want to remodel all these bathrooms. I want to redo the outside. I want to do the kitchen. I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I'm really getting thrown into this. I have never really done a full remodel before. I've helped friends here and there. Yeah, I think that looks good, And he knew I was newer to all of it, and he totally just trusted me. He's like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I did a lot of Googling, and I just asked so many questions, every time I was on the job site, asking trades, what they thought, what their perspective, all the things. Had really gracious GC on that job too, that we met through mutual friends. So that helped. But yeah, I was kind of taking the bull by the horns and just doing it. So my first ever interior design project was a 4,000 square foot, full renovation, full furnishing job. And I think I even designed I designed an outdoor fireplace, and just selected all the pavers and all the things for the pool, everything. So it was a full blown experience to just kind of throw me in there. And it was a big learning curve, but I learned so much very, very rapidly. And so that kind of just spiraled into he hired me again for another house. It was kind of word of mouth. I was kind of just sharing on my Instagram. Again, I'm stay-at-home mom about to birth my fourth baby. I'm not trying to go start a business, but it was just referral kept coming in. People kept seeing what I was doing on my personal Instagram. I would share here and there in between my baby pictures and all the things. And so then that kind of just started snowballing, and I was like, oh, people actually want to hire me for this. This is actually a business. And so I think about 2 years ago, I got the advice from another interior designer, and she was like, you have got to stop treating this like a hobby. This is not a hobby. You have a full-blown business, baby. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I branded, and the rest is history, right? It just keeps growing. And again, word of mouth has just been huge for me. Especially once people go into my completed projects, they're like, whoa, who did this house? I want that for, whatever, whether it's an investor that saw different investors, flip that we designed for them, or it's someone's personal home. And we do get people from Instagram and all the things, but yeah, that's kind of the background and how I got started in this.
Awesome. And then what is the bulk of what you're doing right now?
The bulk of what we're doing right now is luxury renovations, and furnishing jobs. So I would love to get some more new builds, honestly, just because they're so they're not as strategic, I think. I'm just here's the architect plan and go design it. But at the same time, I truly, truly love redoing a whole floor plan. Like, don't put it past me. I think I talk about this all the time. Like, I will move your kitchen across the house if it's necessary. I am like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this here? Like right now we have a renovation up in North Scottsdale, and the kitchen's like in the middle of the home, and it's tiny. And like then that has like 2 tiny living rooms like attached to it, and then a huge area that's like unused. And I'm like, it does not make sense that your kitchen is right here. Let me rework this whole thing. So I worked with alongside the architect on the project, and we collaboratively like came up with this new plan, moved the kitchen, added a different living room, added a bar, and like all the things to just make the home feel more custom, so that the buyer or the homeowners didn't have to go like build a custom home or buy something new. So yeah, I love renovations. That's typically my bread and butter right now, but would love to get into more spec homes for sure, especially out here in the West Valley.
That's awesome. And then starting, obviously you're getting thrown into it. So how much did you have to learn with either design software or just vendors, getting accounts set up on that side? Like how much of a learning curve was that? Was there a way for it to be a little easier? I'll even throw out there. Last year I have a friend who he was doing a lot of exterior work, and he was doing stuff with renderings. And I was like, oh, I should do that too. I started doing it, and I quickly realized this is not for me. And I saw like you're very up to date on SketchUp, and I'm just like, I tried figuring that out. So I'm like, how was that learning curve?
Yeah, I'm very much a bootstrap girl. Like I will figure anything out. And I feel like I've always been that way. Like, and I don't know if it's because I have like 3 brothers and like 9 boy cousins and I'm the only girl. Like, I don't know if I'm just like, yeah, like I got this. Like you don't put it past me. I have this like grit in me to like go figure things out. My dad, I think, instilled that in me too, like teaching me like, I don't care, you're a girl, you can change your tire. I don't care, you can do, and just like, you can figure anything out. Like everything is figure outable. And I still say those things today. Like I just went and did it. Like I'm Googling, I'm trying to figure out like SketchUp courses. I'm looking on like YouTube. My friend, she was with a design firm at the time, and I just like DM'd her. She was not my friend at the time, but she was like, I was like, hey, I know this is so random, but like, can you just tell me like, how did you learn SketchUp? Whatever. She's like, oh my gosh, there's this guy on YouTube. And like, so I went on YouTube. I'm like, this isn't enough. Like I need to learn quicker. And so like I paid for a course, and then now I'm like I'm proficient in SketchUp, all the things. But then once I kind of was like building too quickly, like my jobs were coming in more than I had time to sit and render them. That's when I started like outsourcing and to people who are doing it 10 times faster and all the things. So it was a big learning curve, but I really enjoyed it because SketchUp to me is very creative. And so, yeah. Did I answer your question? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think so for the most part.
Okay. Yeah.
How was that with handing off responsibility to other people? Right now something I'm as far as we're a growth phase, so it's like, and I'm used, and hey, like I've got it, we'll take care of it. But now it's like this is getting a little much. How did you process or even vet the people that you were going to be working with to say, hey, here's the standard that I have for all my stuff, and we need to kind of maintain that?
Yeah, I think my biggest motto in my businesses that I've ever had is outsource to scale. So anything that I don't enjoy doing it's got to be outsourced. It's got to be delegated. I'm even like that with my 4 kids. I'm like, I don't want to do the dishes every day. I'm like, you're 7, you can do the dishes every day. Like load the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher. Like, let's go, people. Like I run a tight ship here. And so I feel like in business that really does translate. It's like, I don't have capacity to be everything to everyone and be the mom I want to be and the wife I want to be and the business owner I want to be and take these businesses to like a different scale. The only way to do that is to outsource. And so I will find people, but I'm quick to hire, but I'm kind of quick to fire. So like you could either like get up to speed and you work and you're efficient, or like, I'm sorry, you don't fit the bill. And I'm not like mean about it. It's just like, no, like this is where I'm going. Like I need the people that are kind of like as quick as me. And a lot of times I will go find people that I'm like, you're 10 times better at SketchUp than I am, like you're hired. And so I found some really good people to work under me. And also like my husband came into the business. He's very logistics and procurement and processes and systems and all of those things. Because for his job, that's kind of just what he does, is systems and processes and analytics and all the things. And so really bringing him into the business and being like, I don't have capacity to think about designing this huge house and also all the processes that go for it. I don't even care how you do it, just go do it. And so, giving people the creative control to go set up a system or process how they would do it is honestly better, because I'm not like, my brain's not wired that way, right? So I can actually give them full control and be like, go do this. Now there's been times where I'm like, go do this, to these people that I hired, and they like just don't have the capacity. They don't have the brain that I want them to have. And I'm like, sorry, I have to go find someone else, because I just like don't have time to like train you and all the things. So even with training and stuff, like, it's just, you have to find the right fits and then delegate and then just trust that they can take care of it.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's definitely it. So I kind of come from the other side, where I came in like knowing nothing. So I have a bend towards find people that know nothing and just be like, I'm gonna mold you how I want you. But it's I think it's the two different things. Whereas you're upgrade, so you need someone to be able to come alongside you and be like, we're going 100 miles an hour. I can't just sit you out there because you're gonna get run over. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I think that's the key, is like finding people that fill the gaps of your weaknesses. So like, I can go sell all day long. I can go get customers all day long. Clients love me, like builders love me, all the things, like I love them. Like, we have this best friend relationship kind of thing. I can do that all day long. And I can also create all day long. Other than that, I'm like, I don't want to sit behind a computer. I don't want to figure out the SOPs. Like, and I do, like, I obviously like tell the team, the people under me or people working with me that I'm like, I want it to look like this. I want it to feel like this. Other than that, go do your thing. And just trusting that they're going to fill in the gaps for all of my weaknesses. And then I can stay in the lane of like what I'm good at.
Yeah, that's awesome. In terms of bringing in more customers, if it's builders, if it is directly with homeowners, you mentioned that a lot of it is through word of mouth. Is there anything that you specifically do to try and increase the effectiveness of the word of mouth? Is there anything that you're like, hey, like, I ask this every time, or I have a process I have through, or like a character trait that you try and highlight as far as, hey, the first interaction or even the 10th interaction, we're looking to instill the situation?
Are you talking about like gaining clients, like red flag clients versus like green flag clients? Or are you talking about like system or like social media? Like, can you clarify the question just a little bit? Sorry, I'm like trying to.
No worries. Last year I started looking at, like, I would ask business owners, did you grow your business? And because I was trying to almost short track it in terms of like, is there a marketing? Is there a way that like, and a lot of it seemed to be, well, I did work for Tom and Tom referred me to John. John referred me to Sally, and over and over. I just kind of hit this, like, is there a way that we can be more strategic with word of mouth? So are there things that you do with even word of mouth where it's like asking for referrals? Like there's some people where they're diligent about, if I do a job for you, like, if you know any friends, we'd love to work with them. And there's other people where it's just like, I show up, I do the job, and then that's it. Like, they're all about just do the job.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think, well, when it comes to a builder standpoint, I'm always quick to be like, hey, I'll give you a referral kickback for anything that you bring me. And likewise, like, I love working with builders who are also like that. So I bring certain builders into a project, or, general contractors into a project, and they are like, here, we're giving you a referral kickback because you just brought us a huge project and huge business. I wish more builders did this. I'm very quick to be like, hey, I'll give you a referral kickback, whatever. Just kind of like on the industry side, same with like architects. Easy, like that's easy for me, because I'm like, I wouldn't have, or like, I'll have someone reach out and they'll be like, hey, like, this seems like a great client. I think it'd be a great project for us to like do together. I know that this is like, the client's going to meet your expectations, whatever, like, but I don't think that they can afford like your full fee. Like, is there any way that we can work this out so that we can work together? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Because I will totally go down on my fee to meet that contractor and client budget, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't have that job if it weren't for the contractor and that client. And if they've already done the upfront work to vet them, and I trust this, contractor that I've worked with over and over, yeah, of course, we're going to do that. And I'm like, appreciate the business. And so, on that side, that's kind of where I land very like heavily to be generous in referral kickbacks. I'm also like a hype woman when it comes to my contractors. Like, when I'm with clients, I'm like, no, like they're the best. Like here's 4 that like, they are like my go-tos. Like they're going to take care of you. And I'm like the biggest cheerleader. And so I think that also gives this confidence to these contractors to be like, oh, look, like Katie has my back when it like push comes to shove, like in renovation, when stress is like high from client or whatever, like, no, we're in this together. Like we're the best team for this, you know? And I think that is another way that like contractors like to work with me, because it's not so like stressful and fussy. And I'm like, oh, they missed something on the design plan or whatever. I'm like, oh, you missed that, but like, it's cool. Like, just go fix it, whatever. I'm like not one to get really mad over things. So I think on the industry side, I would say that is kind of how I continue to generate new projects, right? And then on the client facing side, yeah, I'm definitely like, just this year, I went back to like some of my clients that had completed projects. And I was like, hey, this is random, but will you go leave a Google review? Like I've never even asked for reviews. And all of them were like, oh my gosh, hands down, yes. Like, and then I look and it's like 5-star, like some of them absolutely made me cry. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they feel this way, like made me feel so good. And so I think just like asking like, hey, how was your experience? Like good and bad, like how was it? Like give me feedback. Because I'm like, you know, I want to grow, I want to learn, and I want to, you know, the next get better and better with every client, every project. So yeah. And then sometimes like clients will just like I have a situation right now where me and a builder did a project in Desert Ridge, and we completed it. A neighbor had seen my photos, or I think the builder's photos or something of this project. And she was like, I know that house is like a similar house to like my neighborhood. And so she, I guess, like went on her like little Facebook group and was like, whose house is this? It's beautiful. And then she got to walk that one of our projects, right? And she was like, hands down, I'm hiring that designer and that builder. Like there's no questions asked. I love that project. So kind of just like word of mouth, and also just, I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of how I am with clients. And just like word of mouth is like a thing, because they're like, oh my gosh, she's so fun to work with, or she's like so easy to communicate with, or whatever.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I think I see it more on my side, where I've got trade partners that there's some guys where you do not get to talk to the customer. And
Yeah.
where I think a lot of times it's, you want someone with charisma, and that helps just sell the job a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then you're also pretty active on Instagram. You've got some stuff up on YouTube as well. What has your approach been with that? Has it been more of like, hey, just we're here? Do you see clients through there? Is that a way to help convert people who, okay, we heard about Katie and what she's doing, they get to kind of check it out and create trust real quickly? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I think my strategy with Instagram, we're trying to grow out our YouTube and Pinterest, because Pinterest and YouTube are both really evergreen, right? So like they're searching for things and they're finding it, and then they're being inspired by it, and then they're connecting, right? And then, so typically we'll kind of see that, and then we'll see some new Instagram followers. But my strategy with my Instagram really is to use it as kind of like a portfolio, but also like to where people understand who I am and get the vibe of me before they ever put an inquiry into our website. I want someone to be like, I want to work with her. Like, she's so cool. Like, so that when they're going into the inquiry process on our website, they're not just looking at a bunch of pretty photos and like a picture of me standing in one of our projects. They're like, she like drinks rosé with me on Thursdays every night when I tune in, you know, like, I'm like, I want them to already feel comfortable. And a lot of our clients already say, like, in our first initial, you know, meeting, in our first consult meeting, they're like, I feel like I like already know you. Like, I feel like I already know you. I already like have seen your family on Instagram, because I'm like going to stalk you because I want to know more about you, all the things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. Like, that's exactly what I want from my Instagram. So I am the most like real like person on my Instagram as I am in like real life. I'm like loud. I sometimes talk too loud. I'm bubbly, and I'm just like stress-free. So when clients connect to that on Instagram, they're like, that is the kind of experience that I want. Like, I want this to be enjoyable. I want to feel like it's fun. I always show like little client experience things, like maybe our presentations, like it's always including bubbly and like a nice little charcuterie spread. And like, it's just a fun time. And I want clients to kind of get a sense through our Instagram that like, like your home renovation could be like super stressful with like no designer or whatever. But like, if you have the option to have like a really fun experience and like, all you have to do is say like, oh, that's so pretty. Yeah, let's go with that. Like, awesome. And like, we handle the rest for you. Like, you're kind of just out here enjoying your time and not like super stressed. That's what I want for my clients. And so if I can bring that to the table through my Instagram and say like, you know what, we're here for you. Like, we're going to design to your style. Like, we'll make it 10 times better. Like, take it or leave it. Like, we're not really pushy. Like, we've had, people engaging on Instagram and stuff. And they're like, oh, we ended up going with a different designer. Like, they're, out in Gilbert. Or I'm like, oh, great, go for it. Like, that's going to be the best designer for you. So I think also just conveying that on my Instagram, it's like, you know what, like, I'm not going to like chase you down. Like, if you want us, like, we're here, And so the only way I can do that, I can't really do that on a website, but more through like video, things like this. People can kind of see our personality and like, see if they want to work with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then once someone has stalked you on Instagram, watched all the YouTube videos, what does the process look like for you guys once someone reaches out and says, hey, we've got a project, we'd love to discuss it with you?
Yeah. So then typically they put an inquiry on our website or like fill out our inquiry form. And that has all the things that we kind of need to know if we're like a good project fit. So that's things like budget, square foot, timeline. I'll have them send me kind of their aesthetic. Sometimes people are like, I don't know, I just like your page. And I'm like, oh, that's the best client right there. They're like, I liked your Taste of Montecito project, or I love your San Salvador project. I'm like, oh, perfect fit. Okay. So that's kind of nice. So they'll fill out the inquiry form, and then I personally email them back and I'm like, hey, like, let's get on a Zoom call. And I take them through a full discovery call process. I take them through our full design process. So I, sit them down and I'm like, even if it's just like a small little renovation, I present to clients like, look, I'm going to show you what we do from like new build all the way through like implementation and, installation through furniture, because I want you to see how your project totally fits seamlessly into our big, long, beautiful process. So I will say, the first step's architectural review. We love collaborating with the architect. We can, a proposed renovation plan. We've done that before. We love doing that. And then, moving into, this is our conceptual design phase, and this is our interior design where we're selecting all the materials. Here's our furniture stage. I take them through exactly what we're going to do in their project with real life deliverables. I'm like, yeah, this is an example from our Rhythms of Nature project. This is an example from our Kobe Lane project. And they can see the scope right there. Like, it was a kitchen, a bar, and a living room, and a dining room. And this is the renderings, and this is this, and this. And so they can kind of see like, okay, she has a process, or they have a process. They know what they're doing. I don't have to worry. This looks great to me. Okay, cool. And then by the end of it, I'm like, hey, so you want to schedule an in-home walk? It's $450. I come, you can ask me anything. You can, like, sometimes I'll be like, you could just like schedule me out. I can come out there for 90 minutes and you can ask me all the things of what I would do here and what I would do here and all the things. And if you leave that meeting going like, I think I can do this by myself, I'm like, great, go do it. Like, I'm not like always trying to like just sell more. I'm really just trying to get to the point of like, what does the client need? Like, sometimes they don't need a designer if they don't have the budget, if they don't want to hire someone, if they like doing it themselves, maybe they just need a little hand. Sometimes I leave the meeting and they're like, there's no way I can do this by myself. Like, everything you just said has gone like completely over my head. You're the professional, just do whatever you want. And so there is a balance and a cadence to that. And I think that when you always put client experience first, not try to be pushy, not try to like land the sale all the time, just kind of like a take it or leave it approach, clients trust you so much more, is what we have found.
Which I think even everything that you've described, the social proof that you're doing through Instagram, your personality, it's building trust there. But then even it's now you've got someone who's interested. You did there, and as you're describing that, I thought that was really interesting. It's you're doubling down trust again, and that's a really 100%. Cool way to do it. As far as it's just, hey, here's the proof. Like, we've done it before. Right. So I like that a lot. I'm probably going to steal that a little bit.
Yeah, you should. And I think just like building that trust, right? So that when they're in the middle of this stressful renovation, they've never done this before, and they're so scared because I'm removing a window and I'm centering things out and I'm doing all this crazy stuff, that they're like, oh my gosh, like, this doesn't make sense. This used to be my laundry room and now it's a prep kitchen. Like, I'm freaking out and all I see is like framing. They know, they're like, okay, she's done this before. I've trusted her this far. I might as well continue to trust the process, and she can like talk me off the ledge every day or whatever, they need. And so, yeah, I think just like building that trust and like being that support and being like, nope, we got you the whole way through, and it really does start with establishing trust and professional like authority, honestly, in the beginning, in a non-stuffy, like, I know what I'm talking about, my way versus my way or the highway approach. It's really just like, what do you need? Okay, yeah, we could totally do that, so
yeah. You're letting them come to the decision that you're trustworthy rather than being like, I'm trustworthy.
Yes, absolutely. They have to believe it before I can't convince them,
Yeah. And then I saw that you guys are advertising that you're doing some projects even outside of Arizona. So I was curious as far as what does that look like? I'm a very like in-person type of guy where it's like, I like to walk the project. So, and then it's like, I know that a lot of design does happen across state lines and sometimes that is more virtually, but how does that process work? And then what are some of the challenges that you face, like when you can't necessarily go to a project?
Yeah. Okay. So at the beginning of this year, we wrapped up a project in Texas. It was actually for one of my friends. He is a professional baseball player, and he built out his whole facility just for him to personally train at. But there were some common areas that they needed furnished and things like that. Quite a few. And so she's like, I don't know how to, like, you just go do it. Like, again, full trust. It was so fun. And so it was a really good, like, first like full completion project out of state, because I had full control of it. I had to figure out like, who's my logistics, who's my receiver, what does install look like, what do flight times look like, is it like a in and out thing, is it an overnight thing, like what does this look like? And I got to kind of figure it out in a really comfortable environment. And so thankful for that. And then now, we did have a project in Hope Ranch, but it didn't come to completion. I think they might be moving. So I don't know if that's actually gonna happen, but we have done like the whole like design process with them, and now feeling so comfortable being like, oh yeah, like I've did this in Texas. Now all I need to do is XYZ over here in Hope Ranch, Santa Barbara. And so then we just brought on, right now we currently have a project in South Dakota. It's in Rapid City. So kind of like where Mount Rushmore is.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Is that the one with the presidents, right? Rushmore
Yeah.
is that the thing? Okay, yeah. I'm like, I homeschool our kids. I don't even know Mount Rushmore. Sounds great. So anyways, so project out in South Dakota, that is a really cool cabin vibe. Again, it's like super fun to just like material select. All we really need is an architect plan. So basically they send an architect plan and we can do the rest from here in Arizona. And then we will just fly out, find, a trusted receiver to send all the furniture to, which we lean on our vendors for. So like the people that we are purchasing, wholesale furniture to then sell to our clients, we're saying like, hey, ask your your team, like the logistics place in Rapid City, South Dakota that, designers are using out there, or, do you have an alternative for this or whatever? And leaning on them because they're nationwide manufacturers, right? Like they go to everywhere, not just Arizona. And so leaning on our reps and our vendors for that has been huge. As well as like, tile places, flooring places, all of those things. Like, I don't know those places out in South Dakota, but I know people who know people out there, and like businesses out there, and maybe some branches that are here in Arizona are also out there. Now I can go source and select. So that's been helpful. And I think it's, again, one of those like grab the bull by the horn. I don't really know what I'm doing, but we got this. Like everything's figure outable, And so, yeah, like maybe mistakes happen, but I'm like, whatever, like it's fine. Like we'll figure it out as we go. And I think that's kind of what stops a lot of people from branching out and doing the next thing, is like, they're like, well, I don't have everything down like A to Z. Like I don't have the actual plan. Like I need to make sure that I have the plan first. And I'm like, I'm already 10 yards by you. Like, I'm just like, I'll figure it out. I roll the punches. And so I always tell other business owners, like, you don't have like done is better than perfect. Like you don't have to go make everything perfect. Your job is to just go. Like when opportunity presents, like figure it out as you go. Like, and I think maybe that comes down to like just my background in like being a mom and a foster mom and adoptive mom, and I birthed babies before. It's just like constantly rolling with the punches. Like you don't know everything. When they hand this like little newborn to you, you figure it out. Like everything's figure outable. You're going to make mistakes. It's the same thing in business. And so I think my approach there, coming from just stay-at-home momming to full-blown business, I'm like, you know what, like I can't be scared of something that I just don't know. Like I'm just going to go for it, ask the questions I need to do or ask, and then just go do what I need to do.
Yeah. Do you work with people to do as-built for the project so that you can kind of get all the dimensions back, or how do you start working with a space that like you're not there physically for?
Yeah, I would just say like, hey, like if it's just client, I'll be like, hey, like I can't do anything until I have a floor plan, unless you want to fly me out there and I will go like scan the whole place and put it all in 3D. Like you can go hire like a draftsman, get an as-built and give it back to me, or go like figure out the plan with an architect or whatever, get it back to me. Totally fine. There's ways to do it. So like if they're, it's a little renovation or a small, like we did a site walk for another project in Texas, right outside the project that we were installing. So we did that in the same week. It was easy. I flew in and I just scanned their house. We did a little consult. We're like, okay, what if we did this? What if we did this? Okay. And then I had a list of general contractors because I know other designers in Texas. I'm like, hey, who do you trust? Who do you use? And I think that's another thing that I was going to say with Instagram. I'm really trying to connect with really cool, like industry people in the industry, like no matter where they are, because they use me as a resource and I use them as a resource all the time. And so I'm able to go to 2 designers in Texas that I know have like done beautiful published projects out there and say like, hey, who do you trust to like put this person's house back together? And then I can confidently come into the job and be like, yeah, I have a team already, like, let's go. And so, yeah, as far as the as-built questions, yeah, they'll just get an as-built and we can take it from there and kind of like restructure things. Of course, has to be like field verified, field measured and verified in the like by a contractor before they like do all this stuff. But for the most part, we can get a plan and then do it in our software, SketchUp, AutoCAD, all the things to renovate their home.
Nice. When you're looking to partner with either a vendor, I'd say contractor especially, or anyone else, are there anything specific things for as far that's red flag or like green flag in terms of, yes, like that's the one I want to work together with?
Yeah, I always say that I want to work with kind, communicative, and collaborative people. If you're not those 3 things, I don't want to work with you and I don't want to work for you. I am not the type of person that does well with like a really bulldogging personality. Like I'm like, you're taking your job way too seriously, bro. Like it's not that hard. Like you're not saving lives. Like no offense. I don't know. I just don't think it's like, I think people get in the industry and then they feel like they have to like prove themselves and they're like, oh, and then this, and then like they kind of just don't work collaboratively, or they just don't communicate because they're like, oh, they're just the designer. They don't need to know that, or they don't know, or whatever. And sometimes I'm like, I actually feel like I have more construction experience than you, but that's fine. Like it's fine. You just started your business last year and you don't know anything, but it's fine. I just being like kind and like your words and like how you are to the client and like, are you talking bad about the client? Like, I don't want to talk bad about my client. Like, no, this is for the client. Like, yeah, of course we're gonna have frustrations and we're gonna troubleshoot. And we're gonna be like, gosh, but they really want this and that's so annoying. But like, it's not that we're not like trying to figure things out for the client behind their back. Like that's part of our job, but it's like, just being kind and talking to your trades really kind. Like, how do you talk to your tile guy? Are you like, get here now? Like, I don't work with people. Like, I don't work well with people. I want people where when we're walking the job site, like the tile guy's in there and we're like, dude, great job. Like, you're crushing it. Like, you deserve a beer. Like, you're like, thank you so much for like taking what's in my brain and making it happen in the field. Like, this could not happen without you, and I just like think like sharing that kindness on everybody, like with everybody on the job site, client, builder, architect, trades, all of the things, goes a long ways for me in who I like to work with. I also like to work with people who are collaborative. I don't like people who like, just like they'll say one thing to the client and then they'll kind of have their thing and then they won't communicate things. And then they're like, well, it's like me versus her, like kind of thing. I don't do that. I want collaborative troubleshooting. I want, a problem arises and we're collaboratively like, hey, how can we fix this for the client? Like, what do we need to do? We ordered something wrong. How can we like, figure this out? Like, or whatever, like troubleshoot, collaborate, and then like present to client, and also just communicate. Like I've had really great GCs who they'll go walk with the client and then they will send me an email and say, hey, just so you know, we talked about these things. These were kind of the construction things and we answered these questions. These are the design things that we have no say in. You're the designer. You tell me how to move forward. You communicate with the client what they would like to do. And it's very communicative. It's not, we talked to the client about this and we decided this. And I'm like, whoa, like, no, like I didn't want an LED strip there. Like that doesn't make sense. That's not going to be like, that's not going to feel right. Like we could do like directional spotlight lighting. Like I understand what they're wanting, but like, that's not what we're going to do, And so communicating like when they're on site with client, and then when I'm on site with client, and making sure that communication gap is, filled. Those are the type of people that I really, really enjoy working with.
Yeah. How often are you for new vendors, even just to find like new products? As far as like my experience, even just with spotlight lighting, like you said, I've started to understand that under the last couple of years. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it can be very niche, especially on some of those things. So how do you, are you constantly talking to vendors to say like, hey, what's new? What are you guys, how do you go about even just saying like, what's in the industry and what's coming up?
Yeah, I think going to events, like, going for, let's say like furniture, like going to furniture markets at least 1 to 2 times a year. Like that's huge to see like what's new and upcoming.
Real quick, what's a furniture market?
Oh, it's like basically where all these manufacturers, wholesalers, they come together in Vegas, and then all these designers and people in the industry go and like kind of get a, like see, sit, feel all the things, all the product, really immersing ourselves in, brands that we want to start putting into people's homes. Like furniture in general, lighting, mirrors, hardware, all the things, and just making sure that we're like kind of putting the newest, latest like things for our clients, always like educating ourselves. I think I'm also like, I just ask a lot of questions in general, and I didn't realize I did that until I had a biological daughter. And I'm like, you ask so many questions. And my husband's like, yeah, where do you think she gets it from? I'm like, oh yeah, I do ask a lot of questions because I'm so curious. And so like, I think even going to like vendors or like the contractors talking, and they're like, oh yeah, it's like, I don't know, the BMP of this is like whatever. I made up BMP. I don't know if that's a thing. But I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, I don't know that term. Like, can you tell me like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, happy. Yeah. Okay. So like when the, rafters are like that, they're like, oh, I never knew that, And so just like constantly asking questions. And I think that's really like, gets me like, the more education that I can have, the more I can be like pro, like, and ahead of like where my client wants to take their project. And so I was going to say something else to that, but I can't remember what it was. But I think, yeah, just being curious, asking questions. Oh, and I think sometimes I'll have these ideas because I'm not from an interior design background. I didn't go to school for this. I literally just was like mom turned interior designer overnight. And so it was like a huge learning curve. I've never stopped learning. And so I think sometimes I'm like, I don't know what's doable and not doable in a project, but I'm like, could we do a stone arch here and like knock out this wall? Like, is that doable? And they're like, oh, like, why would you do a stone arch there? I'm like, I don't know, because I want to. Can we do it? Like, I don't know. And so, yeah, it turns out it's doable, and we did it, and it's beautiful, and it's like the, showcase of the whole home. So I think also just like testing the waters and like kind of breaking rules and being like, can we do this? I don't know, and just being curious, I think.
Yeah. What have you seen is kind of more on the horizon, or are we starting to enter trend wise? I talked with a designer a couple years ago, and we were kind of in the white and gray phase. And I asked, and I was like, last, and I think she was about a year or so ahead of it. There's a lot of the greens, the blues were coming in. So are we in the middle of that phase? Or even just if we were to say, what have you seen that's been really cool, that's getting you excited from either the shows or just from the suppliers?
Yeah, I think we're getting into more soul-filled homes. People are still flipping homes, and they're doing great luxury renovations, doing like, the basic, like the whites and the creams and the beige and the whatever, like, I understand there isn't like a market for that, but when we're talking customization for like someone's actual home, I think we're going to see a lot more browns, a lot more chocolate, like a lot more espresso, a lot more color, a lot more deeper tones, like moodier, and not necessarily like in paint colors or anything, although that is a thing. But I'm saying more like in the textiles and the textures going in, it's going to feel like lived in for a long time. I think that there's going to be a change. There is a change right now where someone wants their home to not feel just like minimal. Like, I think there's a lot of like maximal, stuff coming out. I am a minimal girly through and through, but I love to design, layered spaces as well. But yeah, I think that's probably something that you'll see more of. Is like more like home filled with character, charm, soul, things that will patina over time, more natural elements that like the marble counters will get like, like destroyed over time, but that's like what you want. It's like the grittiness of like living in a home, I guess you could say. That's really, I think you're going to see a lot more of that.
Do you think we're on like a pendulum swing from all the white and gray, where it was like, just make it white, gray, sterile thing. And now we're starting to have people where it's like, no, we need a little bit more of that character. And that's why you're seeing some of more color coming in, but also some of the darker colors with the textiles with red, kind of more of like this is for real. And we've had fun keeping it clean, keep it simple, but now it's kind of pendulums going back.
Yeah. And I think like I draw a lot of inspiration from like homes in Montecito. I love Montecito, California. I love the homes there. I love the character inside of the homes. I love that like the chairs don't have to match. Like there's like, it's just so full of character, and it's so like, it's this super luxury high-end home, but it's filled with things that are like sustainable. Like it's not just like, you know, plastics and porcelains and all the things. It's like real, you know, real material you'll find in the earth. And I think just like bringing in the sustainability and just like true wood products and not just like, you know, MDF products, things like that. That is what makes a home last. And it also makes it feel timeless. And so I think that unless you're in like the flipping world, you're going to see a lot more of that in custom homes, where they don't necessarily want it to look just like a spec home or like a, you know, a flip. Like they want it to feel super curated and almost like an eclectic lived in vibe.
Yeah. And from the side, I love it too, because it gives us an opportunity to almost tell a story with it. And the MDF versus the wood thing, I love doing trim work. So that one's near and dear to my heart, where it's like, hey, you can see they've got the same profile, but they're different. And it's like, well, right. And it's like, wow. And it's not just oh my God, just explain it, but it's like, I like to explain to the customer, here's why we want to go with the wood, and it's going to be different than the MDF. It's going to be more resistant. It's not like you just start nerding out and it gets fun with it. But I feel like it gives us that opportunity where everyone before was like, just make it new and make it in there. Make it look like it is. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and we talked about it a little bit before we were recording, but obviously you talked about you're a stay-at-home mom and several kids. So wanted to ask you about how's the balance with the business and then being a mom, and then mentioned the homeschooling a couple of times. So what does that look like for you guys in the midst of all in?
Yeah. So I think like whenever I talk about this, I always like, I build this business and I love this business, but at the end of the day, it's not my identity. It's not my main priority. I care for my clients. I care for the people that I work with, but my main priority truly is my kids. I feel like I have the rest of my life after I have raised these kids to go build a huge firm, a huge studio, do all these brand deals, all the things. I have the rest of my life to go do that. I will not always have my kids in my home. And so they will always be priority. My husband will always be priority. I see a lot of like chasers out there, especially in this industry. Like, we got to grind, we got to make it happen. And that's fine. It's just not me. Like, I didn't have kids to just like, this sounds really like sharp and like brutal. I don't mean it to come across like that. But like for me personally, like I didn't have and bring in kids to like send them to school so I don't see them all day so I can go build my empire, and then nanny picks them up and then I only see them for 30 minutes at night. Now I understand that's like an exaggeration for like what these parents are actually doing. I know they're spending time with their kids. I know that. But for me, I'm like, I want to breathe the breath of my children. Like I want to breathe that like air that they're in all the time. I want to be around them all the time. I am not one that's like, oh my gosh, just get me away from my kids. Like my husband and I love our kids and we love our family, and that comes first. And so I think coming into this industry first, like not even making it a business for the first 3 years, and kind of just doing it on the side, it wasn't really a priority. Like it is a priority, but it's not my top priority, I guess. And I think balancing that has made my business better. So because I want to be such a present mom and travel with my kids, give my kids experiences, but still make really good money running a business, I have to set more processes and more systems in place so that I can now not be as necessary. Now I'm not like spinning my wheel over here and barely making any traction, where now I'm, outsourcing the skill, right? And so I'm delegating, I'm handing it off, I'm not bootstrapping everything. Now my revenue is increasing and my time at home is increasing. So I read this book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I absolutely love it. It was so life-changing. I feel like no one was saying this until I read this book, and I'm like, this is literally what I've been feeling like I've been wanting to do for so long when it comes to owning a business. And I think just like knowing that, when I delegate, when I free up my time from the business, it runs better because the people in place are doing the things better than I am, right? And I can still be kind of like CEO, creative director, designer, but I don't have to have my hand in anything. And in fact, sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what's going on over there, but things are happening and it's, nothing, no balls dropped. So it must be working. So yeah, like freeing up my time to get out of the business to be really where I want to be has been crucial for not only business growth, but like my work-life balance. And yeah, we do homeschool our children. I can't take the full credit for that because my husband does do all the homeschooling. I find the curriculum, I find like the different things, and he just like homeschools them. He has a really flexible job. We both work from home. We love working from home. And again, we just want to be around our kids. And so he does the homeschooling because he's better at it. And I'm like fist slamming the table, like, I don't know what you don't get about this. Like, I don't have the patience. I think if I was not as busy and like building the business, I probably would be like putting all my heart and soul into the homeschool, like being the one homeschooling and, working on my patients and things. But yeah, so that's kind of how we balance it. I can't take credit that I homeschool our kids. My husband does it. And yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. What grade ranges do you have right now?
Okay. So right now we have two second, they're going into third graders. And then we have going into first grade. And then we have a 4-year-old. So he won't do anything until he's like 5 going into kindergarten.
It's just time for play right now for him.
Yeah. Yep. Play is the work of a child. That's what I'm like, I love it. They just get to do their schoolwork and then they just go play and play and play all day.
Yeah. That's awesome. Are you guys planning on taking homeschooling all the way through high school? Or are you going to transition them at some point?
I want to. There's actually a program in Arizona called ESA. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Okay, so basically the government, and this is kind of controversial from everybody, don't come at me, don't email me, this is just what we do. There's a program called ESA where basically the government will give homeschool families $7,000 per kid per year. So right now, you can use that $7,000 for anything regarding homeschool, like curriculum, museums, plays, anything. Like we did a full life cycle garden thing and got a bunch of that covered through ESA. And it's just really cool because we can give these, our kids more experiences, right? Because now it's funded and we can, educate them in more fun ways. Anything that you don't use from the ESA, from that $7,000, it accrues. Right now, this is how it is. It will accrue all the way until your child has graduated. And then anything left over actually goes towards their college for any accredited university here in Arizona. So that's a huge perk for me. Like if we're not using this ESA money, like let's say we're kind of just doing curriculum, we're not really spending too much of it. If all of that's going to accrue and help my kid go to college, if they want to go to college, that's great, right? So that would be awesome if we could figure out a way. We probably will homeschool all the way through. Anything that we can't tackle, maybe we just hire a private teacher to come in because I don't do algebra. Others no way. Don't sign me up for statistics or any of that. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at, and we love it. We love the flexibility. We love we're all kind of home together and living life together, and yeah,
that's awesome. Yep. Me and my siblings, and then I think it's my cousins, we went all the way through high school. So it was a great experience. And it's very similar as far as my mom was, she was curriculum, and we were with a group of different homeschooling families too, which made it a lot easier. And then especially at that grade, it started to become my mom, she was a teacher in the school district and she was an English teacher. So that was her forte. And some of the moms were like, I do not want to touch it. I don't want to deal with it. And my mom, I don't want to touch math. And then some of the other people were raising their hand. I'll take that one. So it made it a lot easier where you look at it at the beginning and like, I got to do algebra, got to do like pre-calculus for them. And it's like, I forgot all of that. So
yeah. Yeah, I never knew what to start with. So I'm like, up a creek without a paddle. I don't know any of that stuff. But yeah, I think it's like really cool because I think like our lives, my husband and I's lives are so unconventional, right? Like what we do for work, we don't work 9 to 5. We don't wake up every morning and go do the same thing every day for 8 hours straight. And I think for our family, to go send, when the girls were going into kindergarten, we enrolled them in a school and then they didn't get the registration. And then by that time it was too late to enroll them into a charter school. And we're like freaking out. And we're like, why don't we just homeschool them for kindergarten? Like, it's not going to be that hard. Like we can do this at least for kindergarten. We'll reevaluate. Then we fell in love with it because I'm like, we're home. And then we're going to just like send our kid off for 8 hours. Like, no, we want to be with our kids. So I think that's truly where it started. And like, we're both in really flexible jobs, like I said. And so it just kind of makes sense to keep them home with us and on our own time, I guess.
Yeah. The individuality also is a huge help as far as for when you have kids at different paces, especially even across subjects. So it's like my wife and I, we've talked about like we've got a son right now and he's only 8 months old, but that's kind of the plan that we're moving towards. It's like I would love to homeschool him and then any of our other kids. So
it's so fun. Yeah.
Going back to the business, though, you talked about after the kids are grown, they move out, they might be a little heavy on the gas, heavy with the business, looking at certain brand deals, stuff like that. I get the feeling every once in a while that there are people that kind of stumble into business and then they're kind of just doing it. But looking at bills and looking at some of those things, especially on the design side, seems kind of like you have a little bit more of a direction with where you're going. Or where you like, if as you're kind of visualizing that for the future, what does that look like when that time, if you were able to say like, hey, this is how it plays out?
Yeah. Someone the other day was like, what's your goal in business? What's your 5-year goal? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't have a goal when I started this thing. So I'm like, not really a goal setter. I just kind of like roll with the punches. I have no idea what I'm doing out here. It just kind of keeps happening. It keeps growing. So it's great. But I will say that I do have a vision, especially out here in the West Valley of Arizona. Buckeye, Verrado, Litchfield Park, it is booming right now. And I want to take it over. Like I want to develop out here. I want to build homes, renovate homes, flip homes. Like I love it out here. I think there's so much potential. The demographic out here like has my heart. They are not like super fussy. They're not super like, they're just slow paced. They just like want to love the home that they're in. They want to just have a good time and work with cool people. And I'm like, that's my demographic. I have found them. I love them. I am one of them. And so I think in 5 to 10 years, if I'm working with some really good, cool builders out here and developing the West Valley, I mean, there's plentiful acreage about to be developed and it's only growing. So I hope that I can just kind of take over the whole West Valley or at least cultivate a large amount of business in the West Valley so that I'm not having to commute all the way to Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, North Phoenix. I like, hometown. I'm like a hometown girly here. So that's kind of where I would want to be in the next 5 to 10 years is like really dominant in like West Valley specifically.
Yeah. I feel like the West Valley, especially for Arizona, gets neglected a lot of times. And I feel like it's becoming this sleeping giant where 100%. Everyone thinks that, oh, you've got the large houses in Scottsdale, you've got some of the North Phoenix, Moon Valley has pockets in there. But it's like, if people actually go out there, there are some beautiful people, and to your demographic is a little different. You don't have the tech centimillionaires or billionaires, but you have very successful business people that want a beautiful home, and there's so much opportunity.
Yeah, and the views out here are amazing. Just the White Tank Mountains. Like, I don't know. I'm like, it's like what you're saying, like it's a sleeping giant. Like I really do feel like, and look at Queen Creek, look at Chandler, like look at all those places. Like they were desolate once too, and now they're thriving, they're booming. They're, tech companies going out there. We have lots of stuff coming over here to the West Valley, huge resorts, huge attractions, things like that. But I do think that it is going to move out here. And when it does, like in the next 5 to 10 to 20 years, like I want to be here and ready for it. And so just already seeing like, you know, some builders like wanting to do some more spec homes out here, kind of like giving a taste out here. I do think that it will be one of those spots that's like, oh, whoa, look over there. Like what is happening over there? So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I saw that you have a real estate.
Yeah. A couple years back, I was running Marv Interiors and I would like show up with an investor, you know, let's say they wanted to do an Airbnb. So I showed up with, you know, the investor and the real estate agent, and I would be the one saying like, okay, we could do this, we could do this, like this could come here. Like we were like strategizing, you know, what we're going to do renovation or furniture wise or whatever. And then they would be like, yes, okay, this is the one. And then they'd look at their realtor and be like, this is the one. And then I'm like, the realtor didn't do anything. They just opened the door and I sold you this house. Like what? And you're getting this huge commission off that? I'm like, no. So I'm like, I went home and I was like, I told my husband, I'm like, I think I'm gonna get my real estate license. And he's like, okay, like, or aren't you just running this business? Like, what else are you gonna add? You know? So I studied. It was so hard. I took it 3 times. And on the 3rd time I finally passed. That thing, I'm like, this is like, they just like literally hell to go through those tests. I like was like, it's like 200 something questions, all the things, but I did it. And now, yeah, I'm part of Austin West agency. And so that's fun. She does, the brokerage really is like luxury specific. And so it's really fun to work with Ashley there. And she's just also a really creative brain like me. And so we're kind of seeing potential in homes and we're like strategizing and things like that. So it feels like a good fit for me. And yeah, I really like want to start getting into more, you know, flips, luxury renovations out here in the West Valley, maybe some spec homes, you know, maybe doing some showcase homes to where we're building these specs and then I'm getting to, you know, show them as the real estate agent and kind of, you know, make profits on both sides of that. And so, yeah, that's kind of the goal with that and kind of developing more and all of that, marrying the two and kind of doing all things home, I guess.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to fold it in. Like, I had a real estate license and a lot of people were always like, oh, you're going to do flips. And it's like, I don't know if I necessarily want to do that, but the vision that you have in terms of, you know, say the design, the spec homes, like the way that would fold in together seems to make perfect sense with everything.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Hopefully it works out. If not, I'm like, okay, but I'm available if it does.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Before we close it out, we've got a couple rapid questions for you.
Okay.
What's the most impactful thing you've learned?
Like in this industry, you're saying like for the industry or just in life?
However you want to take it.
Oh gosh. Okay. I would say that like one thing I've really had to learn is like in 10 years, is this issue going to matter? Like this might stress me out to the moon and make me lose sleep, but like in 10 years, am I even going to remember this happened? And so I think just like bringing my stress level down in like the reality of like, this isn't life or death. We're going to be just fine. You know, like take the risk or don't like, and not feel like putting so much weight into like every decision that I make. Like I used to be very like, oh, like if I do this, then what about this? And what if this? And what if this? And now I'm just like, nope, we're going. Nope, we're stepping. Nope. If it fails, it fails. Like, I don't care. And so, yeah, I think just like stressing less and just going for it more.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh, I'm not really a movie watcher. Let me think. I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I love that chick flick. I could watch that all day long. So cute. That'd probably be my answer. Oh no, wait. Yes Day is really cute. As a parent, Yes Day is really cute. Yeah.
What's your first character strength that comes to mind?
Probably generosity. I feel like in this industry, there's a lot of like gatekeeping and I'm not going to share and I'm going to build my own thing. And I feel like that's something that I've seen like from other designers, builders, architects, like kind of hopping in my DMs and being like, Katie, you share so much information. Like, why do you do that? Do you understand that these other designers are going to take like what you're saying and then like go implement it, right? And they're like your competition. I'm like, yeah, okay. So like there's a big wide world out there. Like it's fine. I think one thing that when I started in this industry, I was kind of looking for answers, right? I'm always asking questions. I'm always trying to learn. I'm Googling. I'm trying to find people in the industry to like help me and not necessarily to go copy them or whatever, but like just to learn and like, what is the process? Like, what is a design process? Like, I don't even know, and so many people were like so resistant to even like talk to me about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to figure out my own design process then. Like, and I just figured it out and all things. And so now like looking back and helping these newer designers come in, or even designers who've been in the industry forever, and they're just now going out on their own or whatever. Like there's so much that goes into owning a business of interior design. It's not just interior design. And I think just being generous with what I do know and like just sharing. And I say this on our Thursday Q&As all the time. Like, I don't know everything, but what I do know, I'm happy to share. And so I would say that's one thing that I have been met with, like people saying like, that's like not normal for you to just like share all your secrets and all the things. Generosity is my answer.
What's the best bourbon?
Oh, you did your homework. Okay. Yeah, I know I'm rosé on Thursdays, like rosé on Instagram, but really I drink a bourbon every night. And it's Eagle Rare Neat. It's my favorite.
And then where can people follow you or reach out to you?
Instagram at Marab Interiors. And then go over to my YouTube, also Marab Interiors, and Pinterest. We're on there too. I think that's all we're on. I would have to ask my marketing girl, and I'm probably forgetting one or something. But yeah, anyways, always hop into my DMs or email me and go watch YouTube.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was so fun. I'm like, we just could chat all day, I guess. I'm like my long-winded answers. Thanks for putting up with those.
Oh, absolutely. And then thanks to everyone for listening. Until next time, I hope your hammer stays accurate, your work blessed, and your work blessed. See you, everybody.
Bye.